From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hey-o.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold May Day beer and let's get after it. Don't forget, Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brewery, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast, and you can check them out in Murfreesboro on December 28th, where we will be hosting bingo. It will be a great holiday extravaganza. Where I know where I'm just as surprised. I'm surprised, and I knew we were doing it.
I'm gonna show up.
Will you? So I'll be there too. I might swing by.
Sounds like a time, dude. You think I'll make any friends?
You know what? I guarantee it.
Okay.
I guarantee it.
You know, I've tried every time to not make friends, Bobby, to prove you wrong. But every time, make friends, buddy. Yeah. You know,
we're like the Joseph A. Banks of friends. They guarantee you like the way you look. We guarantee you'll make friends.
Okay. I mean, yeah. That is their slogan. So I'm excited. I didn't know that we were the Joseph A. I feel like that's a little fancy for us. I don't feel like. I'm not saying Joseph A. Banks are to the top of the line, but I'm also saying that we're probably more like thrift store suits. And you get what you get type of deal and not, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, where thrift stores, their slogans are more like they'll guarantee you something. You'll experience something.
I feel like that's more our speed of what we should be guaranteeing, Bob.
We guarantee you will certainly have a feeling. But all right, let's jump right into it. Check us out on Patreon and Twitch to support the show. We've got a good bit to cover. For those if we didn't already tell you, happy Thanksgiving to all of our listeners. Happy belated Thanksgiving. We are now into December when this comes out. We're in the holiday season. It's officially okay now to put up. Yeah, okay.
We told them.
It's officially okay to finally put up your Christmas lights. For those of you that put it up before Thanksgiving,
okay.
Shame on you.
Don't listen to him. He doesn't know. It was always okay.
Listen to me.
Thanksgiving. If Thanksgiving wants you to not put up your Christmas lights, Bob, then it should come up with its own lights, and then we'll put up Thanksgiving lights, and then we'll put up Christmas light. But until then, it should just become superior, dude. It's a garbage. It's Thanksgiving is the baseball of holidays, Bobby. It refuses to change and update with the times, dude. That's all I'm saying. So if you want to do that, that's okay. It's got its spot. But let the rest of the sport shine, dude. Don't be the old timer at baseball. Well, I remember when Shoeless Joe Jackson played baseball and stabbed 32 people with his cleats. Yeah, well, people don't do that anymore, old man. And that's why people hate your sport. So I'm sorry, I got a little aggressive there, Bob. We're supposed to be thankful. We're supposed to be happy. Your opinion is valuable to you, your
friends. How are you this week, bud?
I'm doing good, man. Just super busy with work, but pushing through, playing a lot of Xbox lately. No particular reason, just getting the gaming in. When I have the opportunity, but fantasy football coming, always stressful this time of year, coming close to playoff time. You're trying to get in and everything there. So, but just watching football, watching sports, hanging out, ready for Christmas, dude. I honestly think that we should, as a society, just shut it down. Like we operate on the school approach. I'm not saying we need a full summer vacation like we're Europeans or something, but just shut it down from Thanksgiving to to January 1st. I mean, everybody, what they do this time of year anyway. Let's circle back to this around, the beginning of the year, dude, because nobody wants to deal with it. The whole last month of the year should just shut it down. Everybody, go on about their way. We'll make some essential workers because we need some stuff, but like people like restaurants and stuff that we'll need, you got to pay them like triple, dude, because everybody's off, everybody's out here, everybody's catching vacay funds, dude. And then we'll give servers off we'll give them like February off. Like that will be the server month. They can have Valentine's Day and stuff. But then that's because, we'll just not eat out on February. How about that? That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for the
I feel like though we should give them a month off that like
a longer month.
We should give them I was gonna say a summer month because then a month that people are cooking out outside doing their own
you're
cookouts.
Kind of forcing family. You're kind of I get what you're saying. It was more of I'm just thinking about this personally, like what summer month are you willing to take up that you're not gonna be like, man, I want to order a pizza, dude, or I want to go get some wings. And then there's just not many that I'm willing
okay. Well, in my head I was thinking sit down restaurants. I figured pizza places can have their own month.
Okay. Yeah, all right, so we're really going to start classifying this where it's just like, oh, it's February, no pizza this month. And that's okay. Yeah. I could get on board with that. I can still go get chicken.
You can still go to like Blue Coast Burrito or something.
Yeah, we'll classify. We'll do that. We'll do that with like restaurants, and we will give them, we'll base it. Like there's no way you give up, you give Mexican restaurants May off. You know what I'm saying? Like there's times that things just don't make sense for you to. Yeah, we can work
They may disagree and say that's their holiday and they should have it off.
No, because you know what we hear from Spanish people all the time, Bobby? Americans are the only people that celebrate Cinco de Mayo, so perfect. So we appreciate it. It's our holiday.
Good.
It's something that happened in your history, but we celebrate it as a holiday. So we get it. This is it's like the racial draft that Dave Chappelle did. You know what I'm saying? The Spanish people have decided to select May off, and then people are pissed. So this is not going to be a draft type thing. We're going to have to commissioner this into existence for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, how have you been doing, bud? I haven't even asked that. So
been doing absolutely fantastic. Exciting. It's been a long week. Getting ready for midterms, both that I'm giving the midterms I'm giving and the midterms I'm taking. So, and they kind of coincide around the same time. So just been busy. I have a couple papers to write this weekend, and then, but one class I did just get my final grades in one of my college classes. So that's one less class that's done. She was very nice. And she said, you know what? We're going to wrap it up at Thanksgiving.
Nice, dude. It's super nice that you got that credit, for that pass-fail walking class that you're doing, dude. That's super.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap it up, and we all did our mile walk.
You say that as a joke, but
no,
when I was an undergrad, I did take a walking for fitness class as an undergrad.
Walking was one of the prominent because of my major.
And it was an online walking for fitness.
But because of my major, I never had, not that it was like a luxury. You got one credit, you probably paid out the wazoo for that one credit, and so I never really had an opportunity to work one of those one credit do nothing classes. Not that you did nothing, but walk. Even if you did all the assignments, it was. But even if you did do something, the assignments are just walking. You know what I'm saying? Like you just walked, dude. It's like, that's not, you didn't learn anything. Like, so I never got an opportunity, but I knew people that did that. Brandon Wheeler, who was going for his like physical education degree. So he did all of that stuff, but then he never did the education stuff. So my man just got out with like a physical degree, which was just like, so he could go back and like add to that very easily. But like, otherwise it's just the funniest thing ever. Cause a lot of times all you need is the degree, obviously not to teach, he would need to gather the additional stuff. But if he's not teaching, having the physical education part is no different than the physical part. Like, hey, you're not going to have to educate people here, but you are going to have to move. So you're prepared. So,
yeah. I took a couple of those classes only because there was a lot of times where in order to keep my scholarship, I had to be full time.
Sure.
Classes.
I'm not. Hey, no judgment. To be. No judgment. This was not. That was not a me.
Wine appreciation. Walking for fitness. Jogging for fit. Surprisingly, walking for fitness and jogging for fitness, 2 separate classes.
No,
those are two different things.
That's not crazy, Bob. Those are 2 different things. Completely. You're like, man, the English class for The Wire and the English class for Harry Potter. Can you believe it? They have 2 different classes for that. Like, yeah, those are not the same. That's not the same thing.
I would like to see them combine those classes, though.
That would, but not in a way which you do. Oh, half the class is Harry Potter, half the class. How they fit in with one another. How J.K. Rowling actually modeled her. Same universe is good. I disagree that it was same universe though, and there's one reason for that, Bobby. It's because not once in the Harry Potter series did somebody mention, man, Michael Jordan and the Bulls, they're having a run, huh? Because it took place like 91 to 98. You're telling me not Kingsley Shacklebolt wasn't like, yo, the Bulls though, they're looking good, dude. Jordan, he's the best ever. Yeah, I'm just saying. So I'm saying J.K. Rowling wrote her book based on The Wire and the social implications of it or something like that. That's more what I'm thinking. Like they combine learning about both.
I like it. Quick fit check. What you got?
Just still got the nice pullover, dude. The I'm fancy, but I'm not at work type of deal. And then the Pucks Out hat. I see that we're kicking it old school. You went with your COVID-19 hat, and that's making a nice little comeback, dude. And so I have the Pucks Out hat, which started. I don't want to say it started COVID, but it might have. It could have. It's around the same time. I don't know cause and effect that well.
It's comeback season, and I'm taking the team that I think is going to make it to the ship. All right, I think they're due for a comeback.
Okay,
I think COVID-19 goes for the 3-peat.
That's smart. Lakers in the bubble for the win. That's the only time they can win it.
But all right, let's hop into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
Corey Perry has been kicked off the Blackhawks for undisclosed reasons. Rumors that some people say are disgusting rumors that we say are just rumors, but are they? That he banged Connor Bedard's mom, and the Blackhawks organization has come out and said it absolutely did not happen, and that the players know nothing about this. Well, you know what? They said the same thing about all the other allegations that they covered up for years.
Absolutely.
So why are we supposed to believe them now?
I was going to say the reason that this is a problem for Corey Perry is because it was consensual and it wasn't forcing something up somebody else's butt. If that happens, you do that, you're good, dude. You're in the clear. But we were talking about it. I'm not a Corey Perry fan.
That's a soundbite.
Yeah. I'm not a Corey Perry fan. But if this is true, then what an absolute joke, dude. What an absolute joke. If, again, they're consenting adults, what does it matter on an inappropriate thing on the mom? What does it matter if it was a mom's trip or whatever, dude? What if he married her or, I don't know her situation. I don't know if she's like married already or whatever, but it doesn't matter because
she's married. He's married with kids. So
again, but we don't know their situation. It's not a reason to kick somebody off of a hockey team is all I'm saying. Like,
unless it's in his contract. We don't know his contract.
Okay. Do you think
could have it?
Yeah. Corey Perry's agent's silly enough to have him sign a morality clause. You are a fool, Bobby. You are a fool.
Well, it could also be in Connor Bedard's contract that if anybody bangs his mom.
Okay. That's fair. They're immediately off the team. I could get on board with that. But I mean, let's be real. If it's true, if Connor Bedard's mom banged Corey Perry, Bobby, Connor knew who his mom was, bro. He would have never wrote that in the contract, dude. You know what I'm saying? My big thing
we do have some news about this. So we do have an update.
Okay.
Perry was placed on unconditional waivers Tuesday for the person that terminated his contract. The Blackhawks called Perry's behavior unacceptable and said it violated both the terms of his contract and internal organizational policies that are intended to promote professional and safe work environments. Corey Perry has submitted himself into rehab and seeking professional help for
Sex addiction,
narcotics and alcohol and
others of the sex.
He's pulling the Tiger Woods approach.
Yeah, that's sex addiction. It's a very big thing. Some people are sex addicts for sure. Like they can't live without it. They got to do it. They'll, do anything. But like other people are just just professional athlete men that have money, like Tiger Woods and Corey Perry. Tiger Woods, maybe he was getting a little. There's some of those waitress pictures and stuff that were coming out. They were getting a little rough. I might follow them, but like Connor Bedard's mom is hot, dude. Just like him banging her doesn't make you a sex addict for sure. My question is, Bobby, that what a weird internal policy that says you can't bang another teammate's mom. These are grown men. Like it's only Connor Bedard that's like 18 and has like a younger mom. Like everybody else is like 40, dude. You're telling me I can't go bang, Brad Marchand's mom? What are you talking about? She's like 60, dude. My question would be, if Connor Bedard banged Corey Perry's mom, would he be kicked off the team and put on unconditional waivers? Okay, so that answers your question. There is absolutely no way. It'll be very funny how that policy shifts when it's not Corey Perry, dude. I would imagine that this is a very liberal. You're telling me that
I would like to say that for the sake of for our listeners, the banging the mom thing is a bit. He didn't bang the mom. I do want to go on record and say that this is a bit because people listen like, just so you guys,
it's a rumor.
Know,
it's the only rumor we have. That's what I'm saying. If this is true, then what I'm saying is if that's why he got kicked off, then there's absolutely no way that Bedard gets kicked off for banging Corey Perry's mom. And that's for real. But what I'm saying we should do to even this out is we should do just that. We don't have any contract litigation problems or anything like that. Bedard, you just get to bang Corey Perry's mom, and then we call it square. But I was just imagining the situation. They're at practice, dude. They're playing, and Connor Bedard, this 18-year-old kid that can't even go buy cigarettes, has you go buy his dip for him and everything, just absolutely lays you down, like trashes you, bro. Makes you look silly in front of everyone. And in that moment, Corey Perry said, I'm going to bang his mom. And he's like, mom trip's coming up, dude. You're done, brother. You're done. So I would imagine that's going to be some nice trash talk for teams for years to come.
There are two teams currently in talks with his agent about bringing him on, the Edmonton Oilers and the Nashville Predators.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look, I'm not a Corey Perry fan, but I want him to see Connor Bedard on the ice as many times as humanly possible. So we continue to talk about this because this is awesome. Because, I mean, there's no way that this is the first time a mom got banged on a mom strip in the NHL. And are we just saying
it's certainly not the first time that Corey Perry has banged someone's mom.
That is absolute, dude. Yes. Okay. So I'm glad we're in agreement that what if it's true? If that's actually why he got kicked off, and only a few people will ever know. But come on, guy, come on. That's like something that he gets to brag about in the locker room. You give him a better locker if he does it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's move on.
But also, why? I feel like if he did do it, he should not be denying it. Like, own up to it.
Well, again, you said why. He's got the wife and kids, dude. I mean, So True. There's the reasons of why. It's not like he's some single guy that's just like, no, man, I banged his mom, he's still trying to protect his rep and stuff, But if he gets to 100%, he gets divorced, he's gonna be like, yeah, I banged her, dude.
Yeah. And if this is if this was any other team, this would be like just nothing. But it's a team that covers up everything. So
absolutely.
Now all that did was
all of a sudden they're covering. They're like, well, we got to cover our tracks for something that's not illegal, like it would be weird if it came out, but like as much as I'd love to blame the Blackhawks for everything, if it comes out later on, like there was an internal rift between Corey Perry and Connor Bedard because Perry banged his mom, I wouldn't be like, what the hell were the Blackhawks doing when Corey was out getting his penis wet, dude? This is bull crap. They should have been protecting Connor's reputation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a silly notion. Like, she's a grown woman. If they ran into each other on a beach at like a private resort and nobody ever knew about it, we wouldn't be talking about it. So like, it's poor little guy got his feelings hurt, and now we got to have a whole thing. We got to kick this guy off the team. I mean, if I'm the Blackhawks, I'm absolutely, and Connor Bedard goes, it's either me or him. I mean, Corey Perry, like, I'll pay his salary, I'll pay for his agent, I'll pay for lawyers, whatever, dude. Yeah, you're
I
gone.
feel like with professional sports, it should work like the government to an extent, where there's like a Freedom of Information Act. There shouldn't be allowed to withhold information from the fans. It's
right. We should be able to
know.
We should be able to know
exactly.
if he banged his
I want a
mom
timeline,
not, dude. What website would they put it on? What? That's gross. It's disgusting. But which one? Which one specifically? We got a lot of traction out of that, dude.
Yeah. Patrick Kane to the Red Wings. Not as much traction out of this one. He is
yeah, I like it. I like the move for the Red Wings.
I'm sure he'll bang some moms too in Detroit.
Yeah, but he knows how to keep it quiet, okay?
Oh yeah. He knows how not to talk about things.
He's already banged Bedard's mom. That's why he hadn't signed anywhere yet. Like he's just been he
did that right before he left.
Right. He was like, all right, I'm gonna get one last one in, bro. I'm out to Detroit.
Yeah, he did that on draft night.
Hey, Chicago's not that far from Detroit, so he'd probably swing by. There's no way Patrick Kane doesn't still have a home in Chicago, dude. So Bedard's mom just hanging out there waiting for him to show back up.
Yeah. The Preds are on a league high 6-game win streak. They can't even tank well. So they have just absolutely been tearing it up. They are now above 500. I mean, they went from 4-10 to 11-10, just absolutely insane. They are middle of the pack at 22 points. I mean, this is a team that last time we recorded was like third or fourth from the bottom of the league.
Yeah, it was a very close race. They weren't awful, but I mean, they've gone on that little heater for sure, dude. And it's very frustrating because you needed this Philip Forsberg 2 years ago, because he is absolutely dominating right now. Ryan O'Reilly looks to be exactly what we thought he could be for this team, and Yossi is not, and Yossi's been a little down, to be honest, and that's good news for the club, that your captain and your best player and defenseman can be down and you can still be doing well. I mean, I'm just, it's exactly kind of what, we had kind of two spectrums when we talked about the Preds preseason, Bob. We talked about it could be absolutely awful, or these moves could absolutely work out. And yeah, they're not the better player, but hockey's not always about having the better player if you have a better hockey teammate. And so they're definitely on I would say even the higher end of where we thought they could be currently. Now, hockey is a long season and a cyclical sport, so you'll like to see, you're not going to continue to see 5-game win streaks, but winning 3 out of 2, or 3 out of 5 for the foreseeable future. I mean, this is a playoff team. There's no question about that in my mind. Not a playoff team that goes deep, but Preds know how to win regular season
playoffs. You kidding me?
Preds know how to win regular season games, so it's hard to get away from a not necessarily like a big time winning culture, but an over 500 culture and an over 500 team tends to stay that way, because teams, those guys find a way to win. The organization supports them. I think it's a good thing. New coach, new GM. I don't think tanking is as high of a priority as getting the fans on board with these two individuals.
Yeah.
Nashville is not an old school hockey town that's going to be able to accept, well, they're making moves that makes us better 2 to 3 years in the future. They're not making some sort of semblance of moves and, hey, this team can be good in the future. They look at it more like football or like basketball, where teams are always, 1 or 2 years, couple pieces away, whereas hockey is not like that. We've seen Detroit go on a real 5-6 year rebuild and have to have that because of the nature of how prospects work in hockey. So
100%.
we'll have to see, man. I mean, it's not the worst thing for your team to be doing good, because it's frustrating when they're losing, but it's frustrating when you want them to lose and they're not as well. So
Yeah. But all right, let's move into outside the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
The conference championships are here, and there is one starting on Friday that I am excited. This might be the best conference championship game out there, and that is number 5 Oregon taking on number 3 Washington. I'm excited to watch this. Going through, we're going to go through this list real quick. Conference
Okay.
USA, New Mexico State versus number 24 Liberty. Pac-12, Oregon, Washington. Big 12, Oklahoma State versus number 7 Texas. The MAC, Miami of Ohio versus Toledo. One thing I will say is, everyone says Miami of Ohio because that's like, it's not Miami. Well, I heard a bunch over the week of the weekend. It's like people kept saying Miami of Florida. You don't have to add the of Florida.
No.
It's the U.
It's one of those things, like, it was the original. Like,
yeah.
If you're in Texas and you say UT, you don't have to say UT Austin, because they're not going to think you're talking about UT Knoxville. If you're in Knoxville and you say UT, you don't have to specify that you're not talking about the Longhorns.
I naturally, maybe it's just because we have a sports podcast, I naturally always just say UTK if I'm talking about the University of
sure.
Tennessee.
But you also grew up around football that's not here. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're in Tennessee, I wouldn't think to say UTK, because if I say UT to anybody within a stone's throw, they're going to think I'm talking about Tennessee. I would feel the need to specify that I was talking about Texas.
I guess to be fair, I don't say UT at all. I say UTK or I say Texas. So,
but UTK is also acceptable. I mean, that's just more of a UT Knoxville, because there's other UTs and, UTK. So I accept it. It's not a hate.
Yeah.
You're right, though. Yeah. Miami of Ohio is necessary because Miami,
it's even in their official name.
Yeah.
Miami President Ohio.
If you're the U, you don't have to specify. If you say Miami, I'm immediately going to think about, convicts versus Catholics. Okay. Like, you don't have to worry about me, bro.
Even if you live in Miami, Ohio, when people say Miami, your first thought is Miami, Florida.
Yeah. Depending on the context of the discussion, if you're talking like college football, you're talking Miami, Florida, for sure. 100% agree. Not necessary. A silly thing for anybody.
Yeah. So the Mountain West Championship, Boise State versus UNLV. The SEC Championship, number 1 Georgia versus number 8 Alabama. AAC, SMU versus number 22 Tulane. The Sun Belt, Appalachian State versus Troy. The Big Ten, number 2 Michigan versus number 16 Iowa. And rounded it off with the ACC, number 14 Louisville versus number 4 Florida State. Some decent matchups. Again, I think the only one that I'm excited to watch is that Oregon-Washington game.
Yeah, the Oklahoma State-Texas game should be a good football game as well. Georgia-Alabama will be a good football game. We got a bunch of good. I get what you're saying of like, hey, I'm actually excited to watch this. It's gonna be more like high flying and like
I love West Coast football as well. So,
and it's a rematch. We get a chance. Oregon gets a chance to come back and go to the national champion, go to the playoff right here. They win, they're in. There's no question to me. You lost by 3 points to Washington on a last second play the first time. You came back, you got them. The second time, they're easy money. They move in. Iowa, Michigan. Not interested. Hey, man, we had a great weekend of college football. I called that called the Michigan thing. You were closer on score than I was. You definitely had it right that it was going to be a higher scoring affair. But I think we both had pretty much hey, it was anybody's ball game, and it was a very good football game.
Yeah.
Auburn does what Auburn does during an Iron Bowl, gives them a game. I did want to say, because hey, I expected nothing. You heard my thought process last week before going into this game. I want to say that not a single player on Auburn's football team should hang their head after that football game, but there's a grown man that went home that night and with his millions of dollars and wiped his tears. Hugh Freeze should be absolutely embarrassed by that coaching performance. It's one of the worst, 3 and 4 of the worst decisions right in a row to lose a football game. I've never seen so many. That guy that fumbled the punt return right before they got the ball back. First play in the game. Bobby, you're a football coach. You got to send a guy to touch the ball the first time. There's a minute and 20 seconds left on the clock. Just punt block or just nobody back there, right? You take the football on the 2, on the 10, wherever.
You Peter that shit and don't touch it.
It is absolutely, hey, go take, go get your glory, guy. That kid is not at fault there. It's the biggest game of his career. It's loud in there, and he just muffed it. It just happened. And then you still have an opportunity to redeem yourself. You go out and you play defense. And what have you done all game that has worked? There's only been one thing that you've been able to stop this team with, and it's pressuring the quarterback, getting Milroe out of the pocket, not being able to throw. You're 40, 25 yards. Yeah, he's been catching you every once in a while at a 10, 11-yard run and beating you that way. But guess what? We have no seconds left and, barely any time left. And you play prevent defense, Bobby. Prevent defense. Again, you're a football coach. What does prevent defense do for you?
Stop a touchdown.
Well, it prevents you from winning is what it does. Like you were winning, you were winning the football game because you were doing something right. So as soon as you switch that up and say, okay, I'm not going to play my game and I'm going to let you come back and score, you're going to lose the football game. I knew as soon as we rushed 2 people who still got us an okay amount of pressure that we were done. They were fixing to score and we were walking away. I would have appreciated getting beat 49-14 more than I did that, or just losing just because we lost, but not to lose off coach decisions. That it's like he was coaching football in 2003, Bobby, when like computers weren't legit and like we didn't have like analytics and stuff. Like it's just the most piss poor performance I watched after that loss to New Mexico State. Pay him whatever we owe him on a buyout and go start again, dude. I'm sick of it. I hate this. I knew it. If I know at home not to play prevent defense, then why don't you? I mean, everybody in the country was saying, why is he doing this? But except for you. And so I don't know. Okay. But great weekend of college football. Great weekend of college football coming up.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. So let's say after next week we come back, Michigan, Washington, Florida State have won. Alabama wins. Do you believe
Bama's out?
So that means Oregon is lost. Okay, so then you think
unless they absolutely walk out there to Georgia and beat them 56-17 or something ridiculous.
Then
Bama's
another
out.
Spot.
Bama's out. Bama should be out.
No, and I hear you. Who then takes that spot? Because I agree, Bama shouldn't be in.
Ohio State.
So that means that. Okay, so the one loss Ohio State. So obviously Oregon.
The one
goes
loss
out.
Ohio State to the number 1 team in the country by not a lot. That's easy money.
Even
Washington, depending on how the Oregon. If Texas wins,
the situation was if Michigan,
in.
Washington, Florida State all win, and Texas wins as well, but Georgia loses.
Michigan,
Texas goes in?
Washington, and Florida State, all 3 of those are in. Yeah, Texas wins, they go in, especially if Bama beats Georgia, because then there's no way And I think there's the offshoot, depending on who wins, who doesn't, that, it's Bama. So maybe they slide in. But I think more likely what happens if Bama wins, and especially in a game that could have gone either way, Bama and Georgia miss, and then Texas slides in, and I would argue, depending on, again, the game and how it goes, if Texas wins, then Bama is out. But if Texas loses, I think that Bama probably in after beating Georgia. It's hard to hold the Iron Bowl against them. But again, I think it also depends on what happens in those games where Oregon would be out for sure. But Ohio State, what happens in those games, Ohio State could shuffle in potentially. But Texas will absolutely Texas this, Bobby. I don't know why we're discussing it. We're wasting breath. They're gonna lose for sure. And then guess what, Bobby? Bama's gonna win the Natty this year because that is what this world is. Okay, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then I'll be happy. But it will happen. It will absolutely happen. They're gonna find a way in.
So one thing I do want to talk about is there's a good chance that one of our teams will be playing here in Nashville for the Music City Bowl. So I've got the bowl projections. We will find out officially Sunday.
Okay.
But there are 6 possible matchups that will be played at the Music City Bowl.
Okay.
That is Auburn versus Northwestern.
Okay.
Auburn versus Wisconsin.
Okay.
Texas A&M versus Wisconsin. Kentucky versus Maryland. Tennessee versus Maryland. And Texas A&M versus Wisconsin. So there's a decent chance that, now in a perfect world, Auburn versus Maryland, you and I both go. We go
for sure.
We can support our teams. But either way, I think, there's a good chance we'll be seeing one of our teams here in Nashville. Either if Maryland's in it, I'm definitely going. I'm assuming if Auburn's in it, you're definitely going.
I'll go out, and depending on the timing and when it happens and all that stuff, I'll go with you to any Maryland matchup. I like the Music City Bowl; it's fun. I've seen Auburn, Wisconsin. I've seen Auburn, Purdue. Auburn has played Northwestern there before. I don't think I went to that game. But what is the date of the Music City Bowl?
I don't think they put out the thing on Twitter. Let me see if I can find out the actual. Usually it's on. I think it's usually a New Year's Day game. It
somewhere around
usually
there,
December 30th. December 30th.
Okay, so
usually
the day
played on
before.
December 30th.
Yeah, I will be off. That is a Friday. I believe.
It's 2020. Let me see if they have an official date on the Wikipedia yet. They don't have an official.
Don't be Bobbying it or anything. And just like going and getting tickets because I quite frequently offered tickets and
I wouldn't
tickets
do that.
from this. But we'll get something closer to but I mean, I will tell you this, if neither of our teams go, I'm not as interested in going. Now, we may still want to make
with you on that.
we may still want to make a day or do something. That's totally fine too. But my interest does decline a bit, I would have to say.
Yeah. But all right, let's move on because Deshaun Jackson retires from the NFL. Had a decent career, 184 games played, 8 of them with the Eagles. He did 6, and then I believe 3 with Washington, then 2 back with the Eagles before being a journeyman. 641 receptions, 11,000 yards, and 58 touchdowns. A decent career, not a Hall of Fame career, but a very respectable career.
The funny thing is, Bob. My first thought is 184 games played with a possibility of like 12,000 games. So like I think it's impressive his stat level of what he was able to get. There was for a time there wasn't a scarier player to walk on the field against for opponents. I remember Deshaun Jackson has probably got more special teams coaches fired than anybody else. That run on the last play of the game on that punt return, amazing. And even in times when you're like, oh, Deshaun Jackson has lost it, dude, he'd just come out and he'd catch like 3 passes for like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. And those were the only 3 plays that he was in the game or whatever. It was a fun guy to watch. Looking back, I would need to like see his stats compared against others. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer in my mind, but I don't know that. I would need to see 58 touchdowns is a lot of touchdowns. So And again, his special teams work. He could get in as a special teams player, and I wouldn't be surprised. So it's felt like he's been retired for a few years, but you would see half of a quarter flashes from him here and there. But definitely in the end of an era. I mean, I remember when he was the man in some fantasy football. So it's always funny to see how old we're getting, Bobby.
Yeah.
And he's probably younger than us is the problem.
Yeah. He missed 23. Yeah. He spent 23% of the games in his career injured.
Yes. So I was a little high, but not really that much joking. And like a lot of those 84 games he played, he was like limited or played like limited amount of snaps, I would guess as well. So
yeah, I mean, in the 2019 season, he only had 3 games. He only played 3 games. And I mean, he only got 10 targets that entire.
When was
season.
he drafted? Let me guess. 2014.
2008.
2000. See, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's just been there for a minute, man. He might. I mean, 58 touchdowns. Saying it out loud, that's a lot of touchdowns. That may be a little higher than I expect. But hey, we're losing the original Tyreek Hill. I would say that's the most apt comparison. The watered down version, the first edition, the Big Brother one, and then they took that mold and they improved upon it.
Yeah, I could see that. All right, moving on. Bobby Petrino back at Arkansas as the offensive coordinator.
He's back, baby. Get your Harleys ready. All them grad assistant girls, they better be looking out, brother. Bobby Petrino's back, dude. Can you think about it now, Bobby? If you found out that your coach, what your coach did, the only thing he did in this day and age was drive a motorcycle too fast with like a 26-year-old consenting adult grad assistant and get in a little wreck. Like he got fired over. I mean, I know there was like other things like money appropriations, but I mean, in today's world, you let that one slide off of you. That's probably not even in any NCAA sanctions right there, you know?
Yeah.
So dude got done dirty. I've always loved Bobby Petrino. Love to see him back at Arkansas. I think I did read that he got a country club membership as a part of his contract. So that's sick. Honestly, I told you, if we're going to hire an old school coach, why are we hiring Hugh Freeze when Bobby Petrino is willing to roll up in the West Coast chopper style Harley, man? You know, just coming up big handlebars, just I'm here, I'm here to win football games and bang grad assistants, and that's all I'm here to do, baby, and then I don't know.
So I will say, just so that we have full context, he didn't just get in a motorcycle accident with a consenting 25-year-old. He got in a motorcycle accident. That is true.
That's true.
But he also was married and gave her $20,000 out of the football.
That's what I'm saying. The appropriation stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
God forbid.
And lied about it to the police. And lied about it to the police and to the university.
God
And then
forbid.
The university. Yeah.
People have. That's what I'm saying. I mean, he deserved to be fired when it happened then. I'm not disagreeing. Yeah. But what I'm saying is if that happened now, you're shaking your coach's hand, dude. And I'm glad that he didn't go to like a picnic with a kid or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, that's bad of you. You're not a really great human, but you haven't put our football program in jeopardy for years to come because you saw the same movie as a recruit at, on the same theater or whatever, like silly stuff. So, I'm not defending his actions. He should have been fired. But I mean, $20,000, Bobby. I would bet you money. I would bet you the $20,000 that he gave away, that endowment fund for athletics is over $1 billion, dude. It's probably it's well above that. That $20,000 was like booster chump change that he was betting another booster that he should get. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have very easily just given the money to Bobby Petrino to give to the chick. And they would have if Bobby would have asked. But But no, it is very, very funny to see this man back at Arkansas. I am very interested to see what happens. I very much think that Sam Houston gets fired at some point, and you know what I'm saying? It's Roy Williams dancing back into the guess who's back, baby.
All right, let's take it to our backyard for a bit. MTSU football will be searching for a new head coach for the first time in 18 years. Rick Stock's still out as the head coach of the Blue Raiders. His contract was bought out for $5 million. He was under contract until the 2029 season. So that is an era of MTSU football that is over.
It is, man. I mean, I didn't even know that they had another. I thought he was born when MTSU football started, dude, and he was just coaching. He's like a wee little lad out there, and yeah, man, it'll be. From what I've seen, the AD has come out and said that the new hire will have to be have a big personality and be a dynamic up and coming football coach, and I think that's exactly
Urban Meyer.
I think that's exactly the direction you need to go. Not the Urban Meyer thing, but the young, dynamic, big personality. Because that's what a school like this needs, man. You can get recruits into. I mean, it's a big school. It's in the mid-state. You're half an hour from Nashville. There's so much MTSU could have going for it as a recruiting school for the guy that misses out on Tennessee or the guy that misses out on that big university. And with the transfer portal coming in, it's almost like you sell that, right, Bob? You sell that as a benefit. Like, look, man, you didn't get into Tennessee, you didn't get into Texas. You can come in and you can absolutely dominate some American Conference guys for a year or two and then transfer portal out. I mean, it's not what you want. Maybe they like the school, but it's a selling point that you can start selling.
We're in the CUSA, I think.
I thought we were in the American Conference.
Did we change now?
And we might be in Conference USA. I mean, we always be switching, but I think we are.
We're in Conference USA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we move back to Conference? Because I feel like we moved back to Conference USA.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm looking at it. I don't know about our past, but yeah. All right. So, main topic of the day. We are talking Thanksgiving food, particularly the best surprise dish you loved.
I do want to say we just now are back in the Conference USA because I think that the American Conference or whatever shut down. It's one of those casualties of conference realignment.
Yeah. Like, hey guys, we're back. Sorry we spoke all that shit on our way out the door.
Let's see, 2023.
What do you got?
Oh,
anyway,
no, we were Conference USA. I'm misreading it. So, but anyway, it's all good. We'll get conference realignment dealt with at some point.
Yeah. So best surprise dish you loved this Thanksgiving. It's your topic. Why don't you start us off?
Yeah, man. You know how I always talk smack about turkey on Thanksgiving and how it's garbage and why do we do it? I actually had 3 separate unpromptedly good turkeys that I was just like, wow, this is super good. My uncle, one of my uncles took it and actually cut it down the middle and opened it up, which allowed the whole thing to cook instead of just trying to cook an entire turkey. Dude, it looks like it was like Home and Garden magazine, like they were about to show up, like it was like the brown, like I was like, did the guys that do commercials come in here and spray like asbestos on it or whatever, however they make all those things look good. It was good, dude. And it was my biggest problem, Bob. It's always dry. And so it wasn't dry. And then I had a really good smoked turkey as well. So not hating on the turkey this year. Very surprised that I loved the turkey. What about you? You said you had a perfect one for this one.
Yeah. So this was at the third, when you got big families, you got to do the rounds. And we were at my third Thanksgiving. I was like, I'm just stuffed still. So but there was some delicious looking vegetables. I'm not a big vegetable guy, but these vegetables, there was some beets, some carrots.
Yeah.
Some Brussels sprouts, some good looking. So I put them on my plate. I take a bite and my God, I feel like I just bit into the best sweet potatoes of my life. I'm like, this is sweet. It's amazing. Yeah. They were Japanese sweet potatoes, which look exactly like beets.
Okay.
They taste this. They're sweeter than regular yams.
The Japanese know how to do stuff, bro. The Japanese know what's up.
But
they know how to do stuff.
So they're purple sweet potatoes so you're biting in expecting a beet and a healthy meal, and you get yourself a nice sweet potato and you're like, oh, I'm here for this.
All right.
I devoured that. I'm
in for that. Sweet potatoes always hit, bro. They always hit me. I love all versions, sweet potato fries, everything. Sweet potatoes, money. I love that choice, bro. We are got a lot of time. Why don't you just hit our games of the week, and then I'll let you run through all yours, and then I'll run through all mine.
Yeah.
That sound good to you?
Let's head right into games of the week then.
Games of the week. Bobby and Brandon do the work, so you don't have to. The best from around the NHL and what to watch.
All right, so last week was not a great week for either of us. I'm sitting at 11-4. We both lost money because we didn't win any of our bets, so I'm sitting at $12.54, I believe, of $15 bet. And Bonnie's in at 4-11 with $5.16 of.
We were playing baseball,
bet.
Bobby. If we were playing baseball, I'd be doing great, dude. That's 33% of my money right there, dude.
I'd be a Hall of Famer if we're playing baseball.
You'd be freaking Howard Pujols over here, bro.
Yeah, I'd be getting tested.
Exactly. Oh, no doubt.
But yeah. But all right, so I'll go through mine real quick. I have got on Friday the December 1st entering in the season. Actually, wait, is this
Friday?
Is that Thursday? Yes, tomorrow's Friday.
Nope.
So yeah, I forgot
we
I know
recording a little late.
Yeah. Sharks at the Devils. I've got the Devils. I'm gonna take the Devils puck line.
Okay.
And then I've
put the puck line on
Ranger.
the end, if you don't mind, sir. So
yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, love it.
And then after that, I have got let me bold that. I got the Rangers at the Preds. Ooh, this one, I know the Preds are on a heater, and I know I should be playing the hot hand, but I'm betting with my brain. I'm going with the Rangers, and I'm gonna go puck line again.
Okay.
Then I've got the Avs at the Kings. I'm gonna take the Avs, and fuck it, let's do puck line again.
Okay,
all
puck lines. Puck line. I think I agree with everything. I think I would have gone Kings money line, but otherwise I'm with you. I've got to build a little cushion for myself, so I'm gonna go for game one. I got Senators Blue Jackets, the only other game of that day. I'm gonna take Senators. 6 p.m. on Friday. I'm gonna go with Senators money line. Just keep it classy. It's the game's at Columbus, so I'm not gonna get fancy with it. Going with the away team here. Next game, I have the Habs playing the Red Wings in Detroit on Saturday at 6 p.m. Just realizing no, I'm misrealizing something because I realized something that was wrong. So I got the Red Wings, two teams that are pretty evenly matched. Red Wings a little bit above 500. I think the Habs are sitting right at 500 as we record. I'm going to go with the Red Wings. Patrick Kane coming in. I don't know that he'll be ready and in here this week, but I'm sure that the buzz probably is helpful. I got the Rangers as well, playing on a back-to-back. You have them beating the Preds, and then I have them going and beating the Sharks. I'm going straight money line, Bob. I got to get my mojo back. So I'm just going to try to weather this storm and make a little comeback.
All right. Hey, good looks on that. Let's head into joke of the week.
The weird. Corey Perry. See, I don't like that. Wild.
I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it.
Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the joke of the week.
The NFL has stolen the livelihood of a young 21-year-old. Let's see. What's his? I'm not finding his first name. Something Fitzgibbons. Anyway, Kevin Fitzgibbons, a photographer for the NFL, he's been fired, but he's suspended and possibly for good. From the Miami game in which Tyreek Hill took his phone, grabbed his phone from him, did a backflip while recording, and gave it back to him. The NFL said that he should not have allowed Tyreek Hill to use his phone as a
No.
prop.
Shouldn't
and
have
that
used
he
his
must be
phone. Been
punished.
using his phone. I'm in agreement
Uh,
with this.
Yeah. So his phone is how he takes photographs, and listen, it's more about the fact that
Well, it was
they
video.
didn't find Hill.
It was videoing right as he scored, and he wasn't taking photos. Is all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The video
he's
was
the
already
videographer as
going. Well, but so you're telling me that the cameraman, NFL cameraman videographer films on an iPhone, Bobby? Is that what you're telling me?
He's the guy who immediately puts stuff on Twitter and stuff. Like he takes video. He's like their social media guy. He's like the NFL.
So he gave away his job to somebody that wasn't in the workforce. Everybody does it. You can't just if somebody came into your place of work and said, "Hey, let me see them grades, dude," you're not allowed to do that.
I mean, if Tyreek Hill came in after scoring a touchdown and said, "Let me see them grades,"
but then what you have to do at that point is said, "I made a choice in life, and I chose to be a part of this cool thing, knowing that it would get me fired." That's all I'm saying. You know how much an NFL cameraman makes, Bobby?
No clue.
$93,000 a year. Well, I'm guessing Tyreek Hill ain't going to give me $93,000 a year. So Tyreek Hill tries to grab my phone. I'm fighting him, dude. I'm straight up fighting him, bro.
Well, there is some background on this. They are friends. They go way back. He used to video.
So it's a conflict of interest.
Yes. Well, what? More than likely, Tyreek Hill has given this kid money because Tyreek Hill is good friends with them. They asked for comment. Tyreek Hill said that the NFL said he's not allowed to comment on it. But more than likely, but I think he said in passing, like the kid will be fine, and like a look at the camera. Sure. So he's giving this kid.
I'm
some
sure
money
he'll be fine. I'm sure he'll be fine. But like, Tyreek Hill's not going to give him $93,000 a year for life. I would imagine there's not an age time frame of when he'll like age out of this. So like, what Tyreek Hill what he has to now do is take his working years times $93,000 a year and hope that Tyreek Hill gives him more money than that. That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
So I'm reading some more stuff about it now on a different site. It was not his work phone. It was his personal phone.
He did it on purpose.
Reached out of
it was obvious.
Yeah. No, so he didn't get it stolen from him, but it was not the work phone. It was his personal phone that he handed to Tyreek Hill. So it's not as bad as like, oh, he used.
No, it's NFL, even no. I'll tell you this, phone. Bobby. I'll tell you this. It's worse because it was planned by him and his friend for him to during his working out. It would have honestly. I was thinking about it. You're the social media guy, and you're taking video for the NFL, and Tyreek Hill takes the phone. That's actually better to me than he reached in, pulled his personal phone out for what was obviously a plan. Because the phone videoed Tyreek doing the route and scoring. So he had his personal phone out videoing when he's supposed to be out there doing,
what he was videoing on the NFL on the NFL phone. All right. Then when Tyreek Hill came up, he reached in, still holding the phone video and then gave it to him. And Tyreek did the little backflip thing. So he still got it all on the work thing. Now,
the same video. The video is of him scoring, and the video that's being taken is what Tyreek takes from him because we get the full. He scores the touchdown, he turns it around and does his backflip with the video going.
Okay, then this article is mistaken. Then
when was that article? I mean, maybe not. And hey, I could very easily be mistaken, but I saw it happen live on Red Zone. So like So I could have very easily just misconstrued what happened. But that man didn't pull out a phone quickly, get it on a video to hand it to Tyreek on just oh man, I should do this. That would be cool. No, that didn't happen. That was a game plan. Tyreek can plan touchdowns just like Chad Johnson can plan touchdown celebrations because they do it often enough to where there wasn't just Bobby, I don't know if I'm telling you this, there wasn't just a cell phone that was hidden in the goalpost. Chad Johnson put it there.
I think that's the goalpost phone.
Yeah, Chad Johnson put it there. Yeah, that would have been awesome if it was one of those old school phones.
Yeah,
that, like they had to pick up and down. Joe Montana, for most of his career, the old sideline phones were just phones that like were like internal, like a hotel phone, but like everywhere else, you press 9 to dial out. So like a lot of times if you saw Joe Montana on the phone and you weren't really sure why and nobody else was talking, he was calling his wife to see if he could call the outside line. It's hilarious.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah.
All right. So, yes, it was the NFL phone.
Yes.
It was the NFL phone. You're right on that.
Absolutely. He signed a contract.
He thought he had permission. Neutral. He asked his manager if he could. The manager said yes, but it was he was only allowed to do it when Miami was at home. For whatever reason, the agreement that him and his manager was that it could only be when Miami's at home but he didn't tell the kid that, and the kid said he thought it was just he could do it.
No.
So it sounds like there's this kid's dumb, but
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't really feel bad because you make $93,000 a year. You need to understand what you can do and what you can't do, not just randomly doing like, I probably wouldn't have even agreed to it. Like, oh, sorry, Tyreek, like, I don't know. That's, I would need somebody bigger than me to make this decision. But like, it sounds like he just trusted Tyreek Hill saying, yeah, it's cool. Because they were friends or whatever. So,
yeah.
What a joke. What a joke.
Right. Yeah.
We land on different sides of that.
Yeah. Let's move into what are you binging? The wife and I just finished Gen V, which is a spinoff of The Boys, and it was very good, very funny, very entertaining. And I am excited for season 2 of that, and I'm excited for season 3 of The Boys coming soon.
I thought The Boys season 3 was already out. Maybe I'm crazy.
It might be The Boys.
It might be season 4. Yeah, I was gonna say I think season 3 is out. And I don't know if you've heard about this story, Bobby. You got a lot of youngsters. So I'm sure you've probably heard, at least caught wind. You heard about my girl Gail Lewis?
I don't think so.
You hadn't heard about Gail Lewis, 10-year associate, Morris, Illinois, Walmart.
Oh,
844.
Yeah, I started watching that video and I just couldn't. She was cringy. I can't do cringe.
She's absolutely
so I stopped
cringy,
it immediately.
Bobby. But nobody was nobody asked you to care about the original, okay? But what has happened is the internet has been the internet, and so now Gail Lewis memes are happening, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like they're hitting hard. Like there'll be a big hit, like a video of like a big football hit or whatever, and it'll be like, prime Gail Lewis when you tried to steal on Black Friday or whatever. Or like, like Walmart dropped the bag 3 days before Black Friday, missing Gail Lewis. Or like Thanksgiving fights, with your family when your uncle tries to tell you that Gail Lewis wasn't a top 3 Walmart employee, like, of all time. Like, and it's just the meme. And so like, they've gotten progressively funnier of like people are making t-shirts and they're going to the Morris Illinois Walmart, and like they're talking to different people who don't know. These are just Walmart employees who are not on the internet. They didn't know Gail Lewis because Walmart's a big place and she worked on a specific shift or whatever. And so they're like talking to the people and they're like, Gail Lewis? And he was like, no, like, I don't know her. And he was like, how are you treated here? And he was like, well, good, I guess. And he was like, what are you trying to cover up? Because that's also been a big thing, is like Gail, they lost Gail because they weren't treating her right. And then like, it's just, so anytime I'm not doing anything else, I'm just like scrolling. And so now my algorithm is so messed up that I'm like getting tons of Gail Lewis videos, which are just becoming funnier. When, like the prime Gail Lewis has her own TikTok. And so like, it's basically just talking about like trying to steal from Walmart when prime Gail Lewis was there. And it wasn't happening, dude. You weren't stealing from prime Gail Lewis. So I don't know. It's just been funny. The internet is undefeated is all I'll say.
Okay. Let's move into what's snapping your stick, but the Thanksgiving version.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
So Thanksgiving week is supposed to be thankful for stuff. So I'm thankful for a lot of things. I bitch a lot, but I'm thankful for a lot of stuff. Thankful for my friends and family, but mostly I'm thankful, for having a new job. I love that. So, but all of that has one common denominator, and I think it. And I'm involved in all that, so I think it's good sometimes for some self reflection. I am thankful for me just killing it this
Oh,
past calendar year.
killing it, dude. I'm thankful that you're killing it as well, bro. I'm thankful that you think you're killing it, which is usually half the battle. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're not
Yeah.
killing it, but like you thinking you killing it is.
Oh.
Nah, I'm messing with you, bro. Obviously, as always, when our thankful edition, I'm always thankful that, even through you killing it this year and through, difficult coaching and having to have that new job and actually have to wake up for work at like a regular human hour. I know it's been tough on you, bro, but I'm thankful for you and you, editing this podcast and us making sure that as much as we can, we're still here every week for all of the folks that spend their time with us. So I'm thankful for anybody that happens to listen to us and hear what we have to say. But truly, Bobby, of all those things, I'm more thankful for this. I had an uncle that had, everybody has their spiel. Everybody has one family member that has to go through the rigmarole of like reminding everybody that they gotta be thankful and they gotta be thankful for everything. Had an uncle go through the whole thing. When I started thinking about it, it's like, sometimes it's harder to be thankful than some people have it harder than others. And what immediately came to my mind is like, I'm thankful that I'm not that one kid in Airbud, not the kid that has gets the Airbud and has the difficult home life and stuff. I'm talking about the real tragic figure in Airbud, Bob. And it was this kid that woke up every single day. He went to school, he went to practice. He's just trying to make his parents proud. But then one day he goes into basketball practice and he's standing in line in the layup line behind a golden retriever. And then the coach walks up to him and is like, "Hey, Billy or John or whatever, we're actually benching you this game." And it's not like you immediately go to like the sixth man. The sixth man is a very crucial role. So like you're arguably dropping at very least to the seventh man. And if you're very positionally dependent and you're like a shooting guard, bro, he was not coming back in the game as a shooting guard. But just imagine being told you're getting benched this game for a dog. He can't dribble. He can't dribble the basketball. If we needed an inbound play, we can't count on him, and you still are going to have to sit the bench. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm
assuming that kid also had to be the one to pick up his shit.
I mean, no, you go to the end of the bench, dude. You figure out who was ever, because there was the last guy on the bench that got rotated out of the rotation completely. I don't feel as bad for him. He was only catching 2-3 minutes a game. But you got to imagine the guy that more so, Bobby, not even the playing sports. Airbud's team, they weren't winning any state championships or anything, but maybe he works hard and he gets a scholarship. But really, think about this, Bobby. Forget sitting on the bench, that dog was a baller. At least you can accept that.
No, yeah.
But like, your dad's not proud of you, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, he tries to pretend like, wow, Airbud is really good. You got benched for him, dude. There was 4 other guys that didn't get benched for Airbud. I mean, Airbud has no height, dude. It's not like he's not a position player, dude. He was a pure shooter out there. I just feel bad for that kid. I think about him quite a bit. And then my other uncle said, no, that's not even who you should really feel bad for. That kid was, pee-wee basketball. It doesn't matter. You should really feel bad for the guy that spent his whole life working and actually had a career and finally got called up to the majors just to get sent back down for a kid that broke his arm, dude. He's a small child. We had to have whole contract resolutions. And so somebody got sent to the minors when this kid got signed on the roster, dude. They weren't just running one low. And it was a starter, too. Like a starting pitcher in the MLB got sent down to pitch in the minors because a kid broke his arm. It was amazing to me. So honestly, that's worse than the Airbud kid.
I want a spinoff where the 5 people the kid that you just talked about who got benched in Air Bud,
Kid,
the football player who got benched in Air Bud Golden Receiver,
Okay.
the soccer player that got benched in Air Bud World Pup, and the baseball player that got benched in Air Bud 7th inning, and the volleyball player that got benched in Air Bud Spikes Back to like go on a rampage looking to hunt you down. Air Bud.
Just like a league of like an extraordinary gentleman type come together, like Expendables type. They find each other.
It's like we gotta kill this dog.
Talking like they're just like living a normal life. They've had a hard life, obviously, but like they're just living life. And then like they run into each other, and like they both kind of mention, in passing, like the worst moment of their lives. And like they fuel their fires, and they find out it's got to be the basketball kid is number one, and whichever one dealt with it last is the other one that meet first. And then their mission, volleyball kid, their mission is to gather anybody who's ever been wronged by Air Bud, who's definitely dead by now. They're adults, but anybody that ever supported Air Bud or had anything to do with getting him to getting him to practice, like if you bought him snacks or whatever, dude, it's just a free for all of anybody that's ever pet Air Bud, that cared about him, that loved him, dead. I love it.
And there's so much content because Air Buddies was 1, 2, 3. He had 5. Air Bud had 5 pups.
Had 5 child.
Who also went on to play
so
sports.
They're
5 children who could play.
So they're out and about. And so we got to imagine when was the original Air Bud made, Bob?
I believe 1999.
1999. So we're
97.
We're 23 years from that. 25 years from
97.
that. That's 3 generations of dogs, dude. So if we had 5 kids that had 5 kids, there's 25. That's perfect amount for a movie hunt down. There's 25 grand pups of Air Bud just out there with families, with friends. Those kids probably didn't go into sports. They're just living a regular life. And you bust into their home, not to steal anything, not to murder the family, no sexual assault. You're just there to murder the dog, dude. You're just a team.
Then after that, after Air Bud's children are wiped out, we get John Wick 5, Air Buddy.
Air Buddy, dude. Where there's a long lost runt of the litter that nobody knew about that teams up with John Wick, who's very upset that all his brothers and sisters are dead.
Guess what? In the universe, the dog from John Wick 1 was one of Air Bud's kids.
That was one of Air Bud's kids. Dude, we're on it today, dude. We have like 3-4 movie ideas that if episode 182 ever gets listened to by people at Warner Brothers, we're going to see like a slew of like movies come out, and we're going to be like, Bobby, that's 180. That's 182, bro.
Yeah. We go to try to find it, and it like the government has like taken it off the internet. It just doesn't exist anymore.
Every single we're 800-900 episodes in, dude. We have every single hour of every single thing that we don't even have raw files of it or anything, bro. Like that's gonna be sick. We're gonna be like,
we just look out. There's a black van outside of our house.
No, we definitely came up with Revenge of Air Bud, bro. That was totally us. Prove it.
All right, guys. Hey. We went on a couple tangents, but thank you for hanging out with us. We hope everyone has an amazing holiday season. We will see you all next week. And don't forget, December 28th to join us at Mayday Brewery, where we will be hosting bingo. For Brandon, I'm Bobby. This has been the Pucks Out Podcast. We'll see you all again next time.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram at Pucks Out Pod.